Got an electric bill after you went solar? Let me tell you why. Hey everyone out there, another episode of Uncensored Solar TV, brought to you by those of us here at Solar Wolf Energy. And we're talking today about some of the reasons why you might still have either a much reduced electric bill, why it hasn't changed at all, unfortunately, I hope that's not the case, or why you might still have a couple of dollars or what have you. These are sometimes questions, comments, concerns, whatever, that people get throughout the country, throughout the world, I'm guessing, but definitely here in America, that still goes on, and we'll dive into a couple of them. So hopefully you're not one of these, that you put solar on, your electric bill hasn't changed. Is it turned on? Right? So, I mean, if the system's on and this is still happening, you gotta ask, you know, the system might be on, but it might not be producing. And I'll give you an example. If your system is on and you don't have a bi-directional meter, or the power company hasn't come out and done whatever they need to do, it might not actually be working. In fact, it could be working against you. Case in point, some of the old digital analog meters or whatnot, they spin backwards. I'm saying the non-digital, the analog meters, they have the spinning disc on them, so they spin backwards. What the power company won't tell you, and what we've discovered over the years, is if you put a system on, and a homeowner, after you install the system, you tell them, hey, listen, don't turn the system on. If the power company comes on, they say, yeah, sure, blah, blah, blah. And as soon as you leave, they turn it on. And it's on for, say, 2 weeks. And then the power company comes and swaps out the meter. Their meter is spun backwards. They think, great, that's not how it works. They know within about a week or two of about where you were. Here's what happens. They charge you for all the power you thought you were saving. So now you're getting paid double. You're getting charged from what they thought you should have used on a history basis, on an estimation basis, but also on what you actually made for the solar. Isn't that lovely? So if a solar installation company puts a solar array in your home, tells you don't turn it on until the power company comes, don't turn it on, right? Pretty simple. Also, if you have, like I say, a solar edge system or something, it might still be on, but it's not on. All right. What I mean by that is this, it lights up, but it might not be working. It might not be paired. There's a couple of steps you have to do to actually get this thing commissioned. So that's another concern also. Again, talk to your solar installation company. Make sure they come out and walk you through the whole process. What to do if there's an emergency power loss. What to do in any kind of, you know, if you have to do any work or any maintenance on a system, if you're having a contractor come out and do any work and he wants the system off for whatever reason, he feels safe, how to turn it off, how to turn it back on. If you have a reputable solar installation company, they should be able to walk you through this, leave you with a manual of some sort or whatever so that you can go through this. Or pick them up on the phone, call them and say, hey, listen, here's what can I do? Have somebody walk you through it, right? So that's a case where if you have paid for solar and you still have a bill, a couple things to look at. Another one is you paid for solar and your bill hasn't really gone down a whole hell of a lot. This question actually comes in sometimes because you size a solar system for how much the family or how much the residence or how much the business has been using hysterically, you know, a T36, a trailing 36 months. That's a pretty good way to know the energy behavior of this particular property. So sometimes this happens where you'll put solar on a house or a business and then they'll call after a few months and say, hey, listen, the bill hasn't really gone down. Great, send us a copy of your electric bill. Well, you guys for the last 36 months, 54 months, 84 months, whatever, have been using, you know, 1,000 kilowatts a month. Now you're using 3,000, right? So the system that was put on was only sized for 1,000 a month. Now you're using 3. So yeah, of course you have a bill because your usage just went crazy, right? Because, as we know, sometimes people put solar on their properties and they think, I got solar, I don't have to turn my lights off, right? Or I can turn my electric heat up much higher now because I have solar. These are all things that you should have been addressed, you should have brought up to your solar company when they were sizing the system. And a reputable company will ask you, listen, after you put this system in, do you plan on buying an EV? Do you plan on putting a hot tub in? You guys talk about a pool anytime soon, switching to an electric water heater. all things that should be discussed at the time of coordinating with the solar company to figure out the size that you need, right? Now, say you went solar and your bill is down, but you still have like $4 or $5 or $8 or $12 a month bill. This is pretty common, actually. In fact, this is really common. So this could be the charge, the service charge, your power provider, National Grid, Duke, Florida Power and Light, TXU, PSEG, any of these companies, they'll charge you $4, $5, $8, $10, $12, sometimes $20 a month just to keep a grid-tied system, meaning just to keep the line that goes from the pole, whether it be underground or overhead, just to touch it to your house and keep it attached. That's the fee. That's what they charge you, just to have it attached to your house and up and running. So that's a fee that you really can't get rid of in some places. And then there's the people, like I personally spoke with one of our customers 2 days ago, and he said, I gotta tell you, he said, we put a system in June. He said, since July, we have not got a bill, not a single bill. He said, I still have over $100 in credit. That's amazing. All things considered, I think that's how it should be for most people. If you have the roof space, if you can afford a few extra panels, because again, everything we're doing right now points to rechargeable. I'll give you an example. You might have seen some of my videos with, I have earbuds in from Apple. Those take a charge, right? So I either have to plug those into the wall or a cigarette lighter in a car. But the point is, like, that's something that's additional on top of the phone. Now I have AirPods that have to be charged. There's two things, right? So as we move forward toward flexibility and mobility for everything and an easier way of life, everything becomes cordless and wireless. This all has to be charged. I think going forward, the traditional nuclear home, what have you, we're going to be charging damn near everything. So it would be wise when you're sizing your solar array, whatever you're using today, add 3 to 5 or 8 or 10% even if you can afford to do it, if you have the roof space to do it, if your utility company will allow it. Some utility companies won't allow you to go over 100%, 105% of your total usage for a T36. So that's some of the reasons why, if you've gone solar, either why you still have a bill, why it hasn't gone down, why it's gone down a great deal, or why it's completely gone all together. But I just wanted to make a quick video to touch base on this with you guys. I know some of you guys have some questions, some real questions, and as you should, because as we know, there are more, I would say more dishonest solar companies out there, unfortunately, than honest ones out there doing it right. And sometimes the case is you just got tooken, right? It just didn't work out, right? So you paid for a system and they didn't put on what they said they were going to, things like that. So things to consider. Hopefully that's not you. So thanks for watching the episode of Uncensored Solar TV, brought to you by all of us here at Solar Wolf Energy. Thanks.